headline news. Blackpool tourism figures on the rise. Hello, you're watching Headline News. I'm Jasmine Jackson and a very warm welcome to the programme. New data has revealed a jump in tourism for Blackpool. The annual STEAM report measures event attendance, visitor numbers and hotel occupancy levels, and found that there was a rise of 6% in visiting tourists to the town from the previous year. Council leader and cabinet member for tourism, arts and culture at Blackpool Council, Lynn Williams, told That's TV that these new figures are encouraging.
We were still, obviously having come out of the staycation period and all of that. And I think what is pleasing is that then people having rediscovered Blackpool. When they didn't have any choice to go abroad, that are continued, to visit. And I think and I think that also that helps significantly in that people kind of rediscovered and learned what was available. Also, an absolute focus not just from the council but from all of our businesses. That investment, we've got the largest number of indoor attractions outside of London, and there's been a real focus on providing really good value. We understand that people are still affected by the cost of living, and if they're choosing to go to Blackpool, we want people to have a great time, but also feel that they've had good value for money. It's not about being cheap, and it's about providing good quality, not just accommodation, but across the board for everything that's available in the town.
A Preston health expert is calling on the government to improve air quality and infection control at hospitals and care homes. Janet Newsham is the chair of the Hazards campaign, which aims to hold government health officials to account. She told That's TV about her concern that lessons hadn't been learned about the spread of airborne infections since the COVID pandemic.
I find it incredible. Other countries have done it and are doing it. What is it? Why is it that we've got MPs in this country who are continuing to say it's not necessarily been proven to be an airborne disease? After all we've gone through, the 5 years we've gone through, and there's been lots of research, it shows that if they improve ventilation and air filtration, then the spread of the disease stops or is greatly reduced. People that I know, they talk to, some of them won't leave the house because they're clinically vulnerable, or they've, if they get an infection, then it could really compromise their life, and they won't leave the house without PPE, without masks. It's caused deaths in the NHS because it wasn't controlled. We know from very early on in the pandemic, and we knew before the pandemic, that airborne diseases could affect others. But very early on in the pandemic, we knew that COVID was an airborne disease, and as such, it needed to be controlled in that way, as an airborne disease. But very early, they changed the definition of what COVID was, and that was because they didn't have the resources, facilities, to actually cope with it as a highly infectious disease.
That's TV have reached out to the Department for Health and Social Care for a response to Janet Newsham's comments, and we will provide you with it should they respond. A Preston mum has spoken out about the struggles she faced when her daughter's tumour was misdiagnosed as teething. Katie's daughter, Poppy, began having unusual episodes in 2019 and was taken to A&E several times before eventually having an MRI scan at Preston Royal Hospital, which revealed a tumour on her brain. Poppy has now recovered following an 11-hour operation to remove the tumour, but her mother Katie described the ordeal as living in hell. A spokesperson from Lancashire Teaching Hospitals NHS Foundation Trust said that some complex conditions were not always diagnosable immediately. Two Preston primary schools, which are set for expansion, have taken a step forward. Cotton Primary School and Broughton Inner Mounderness Church of England Primary School both had plans approved in the 2 years to allow them to increase their student admission. A combined £10.9 million is set to be released this week by Lancashire County Council so that work can begin on the two sites. Councillor Jane Rear, Cabinet Member for Education and Skills, said the expansion will provide the primary school places needed in Preston for years to come. And in the football world, Preston North End boss Paul Heckingbottom has said he thinks it would be beneficial to keep on loan fullback Kane Kessler-Hayden for another year. The 22-year-old joined the Lily Whites from Aston Villa for the 2024 to 2025 season and has played 43 times already across all competitions. On his performance this season, Heckingbottom said he's a good kid and has improved a lot here. I think if I was Villa, I'd be looking at why he's improved here and thinking, can we keep him improving? And we'd love to hear what you think, so please do get in touch with your views, or if you have a story of your own you think should be on the show. Follow us on X, we're on at That's TV Lancs. Get in touch on Facebook by searching for That's TV Lancashire, or you can write to us by dropping an email to lancashire@thats.tv. A Preston community gym is fighting to keep its doors open by fundraising to refurbish their new home, which is 170 years old. Johnson's Muay Thai must prepare its new premises before its current lease expires, and works to be completed include changing rooms and installing a disabled toilet. That's TV spoke to head coach Alice Johnson, who told us that her gym is a community in which people come together who otherwise would never have met.
In the world of commercial buildings, the rents are always creeping up and up, and we had a letter from the landlord to have a substantial increase, which unfortunately just wouldn't be feasible for us anymore, which is why the mill is perfect, because those kinds of buildings, the rent is quite a lot lower. And as you can see, we need such a large space to host this kind of sporting activity. It's a community in itself. Like, the people that come here, no matter what their background, as soon as they walk through the door, everyone here's got the same goal. And whether it's fighting or getting fit or anything like that, everyone coming in here is just to better themselves, and whatever goal they have, we're going to help you achieve it. And I think that's why, you'll see two people who you would never see socialise in the outside world, but you come here, chat like the best friends. It is very exciting, and I often say it's exercise in disguise, and not only in terms of the physical side, but the mental benefits are unbelievable.
The Lancashire Wildlife Trust have launched an appeal for dog owners to keep their pets on leads when dog walking near birds' nests or livestock. The plea follows an incident at Ainsdale Local Nature Reserve when a dog attacked 4 sheep, which resulted in one having to be euthanised. That's TV spoke to Jenny Benyon from the Trust, who said that dog owners should always exercise caution, but particularly so at this time of year.
We need to make sure that we are being really responsible and keeping our dogs on a lead, basically from February right through to August. So this is because this is bird breeding season. We've got a lot of amazing birds in our region, a lot of whom are actually critically endangered. They're on the IUCN Red List. Birds such as curlews, lapwing, plovers, and these are actually ground nesting birds. So they make their nests on little scrapes in the ground or hiding underneath sort of low vegetation. But even the most inquisitive, friendly dog that's just having a little wander around, seeing what's what, to a ground nesting bird is a terrifying predator. It is lambing season at the moment. There are beautiful lambs in fields right now, but both pregnant ewes and lambs, but also, we've got to think about cattle, we've got to think about calving, can be really, really scared by a dog if it's off its lead, and it can lead to really awful consequences. Sheep can end up aborting, lambs can die. It's a horrible, horrible thing to happen. But again, it's super simple. All we need to do is just keep our dogs on leads.
And that's your headline news. Coming up next on That TV, it's your local weather.